You're welcome to Let's Talk.
We sit down and talk. We need to sit down and talk. I don't know how Nigeria corruption, how we're going to do our job.
You want to stand up and say no to corruption. We're going to do our job, protecting the system. You are not just doing good for yourself or for the nation alone. You also do good for the future.
Boko Haram is an attack. It's a spiritual attack. It's a satanic attack on Nigeria. We must, if we come to recognize it, we will understand then how to look for the solution.
The Sovereign National Conference, how do we want to achieve that in our present system? We need to sit down and iron out how Nigeria should be governed.
Welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Henry Williams. And on Let's Talk, it always gives us an opportunity to take a look at topical issues at home and abroad. Today we'll be putting our radar on the Middle East and especially Syria right now that is experiencing escalating violence and more or less a civil war right now with so many issues and the international community calling for a truce. Well, on the show to do this justice to this topic with me is a gentleman who is a legal luminary, international relations expert, a consultant and public policy analyst, Mr. Barrister Akiri. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Great to have you on the show, sir.
Nice seeing you too.
Yes, it's always good when you answer our call like this.
Thank you.
I would like to wish you a happy birthday in arrears.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the happy birthday splash.
All right. It's great to have you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, we're taking a look at Syria. Suing for peace in Syria now,
yes.
And so much bloodshed, anarchy, a state of civil war, if you call it. And the international community has tried in many efforts to try and bring a truce about, but it has failed so far with the resignation of a former UN chief, Kofi Annan, and now a gentleman has come into the fray, Lakhdar Brahimi, to head that office. And in spite of that, he has met a brick wall on that issue because the same issue is still on ground, which is non-compliance. Both parties refuse to sheathe their swords and come to the negotiation table. What's your take on this, sir?
Well, my take on it is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate event, this Syrian case. You know, if you consider that the Arab Spring, which reached Syria in March 2011, you know, continues to hold sway in the whole of Syria, it's heart-rending, to put it mildly.
Okay.
It's difficult to understand why the situation should come to this pass. This man, the president of Syria, al-Assad, has been there since year 2000. And that's about 12 years ago. Now, and the people say your regime is oppressive.
All right.
Whether oppressive or not, for somebody who has been there since the year 2000, it's high time he left. Now, and he wouldn't go, and the people say, it is high time you left. And he says, no, I am not going. I mean, in year 2000, in the 21st century, and you know, somebody is still saying no to the populace when sovereignty resides in the people. Now, so he's caught in serious problems, and the problem I have is with the powers.
All right, sir.
The so-called, you know, powers of the world.
Okay.
Whereas Britain and America take one side, you know, maybe with France and Germany.
Okay.
Now, Beijing and Moscow will take another part. So what to do about this Syrian case, you know, is a defined solution because of this international conflict.
Okay.
You know, because one party, that is the West, is not agreeable to what the East says and vice versa. That's the problem that I'm having.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, the American President Barack Obama, amongst other international leaders, have said, that Assad will leave. It's not a matter of if, but when? Do you think, in spite of what has happened now, we're talking about a government crackdown on opposition forces in Aleppo with the murder of some journalists, you know, according to reports by government forces,
yes.
deliberate attack, a target on journalists to prevent information coming out. Do you see an end to these clashes right now?
Well, there will be an end to the clashes. Because whatever has a beginning must definitely have an end.
It's about over 18 months right
yes,
now.
It's over 18 months. In fact, it's 1 year, it's 1 year, 6 months, 1.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. That's 18 months.
Yes.
Now, like I said, anything that has a beginning will definitely have an end. Now, the question is, which party is going to win?
All right.
You know, in whose favor will the whole conflict be decided by and by? And I think that the people will prevail.
All right.
The people are going to win. And that is a question of time.
That's your take on the issue?
Yes, that's my take on it. It's a question of time. You can't wage war against the people.
All right.
In whom sovereignty resides.
Okay.
So I'm sure, you know, because come and see between March 2011 to date, several people have been killed.
Right.
In a country that is not bigger than, it's just the same size with Senegal.
And we have a refugee crisis on the hands.
Correct, going to everywhere. In a country that enjoyed relative peace before that time. And this man wouldn't go. And he took over from his own father. So it renders the whole thing like a monarchy. And the people say, we want democracy.
And his father, during his father's tenure too, there was also a conflict.
Yes, there's something. So we don't want this anymore. This dynasty, no, we want a democratic dispensation. And then the man is saying no. Like I said, between March last year to date, several people have been sent to the early graves. Right. And only in August, this last month, 5,000 people were killed in the month of August alone. And you think that person is going to stay there, is going to win the war, going to win the spoils against his own people? It can't happen. Okay. And I'm very happy about the consistency. You know, Britain and America.
Mounting pressure.
Yes, mounting pressure, but for Beijing and Moscow, the United Nations would have come in full force.
Okay.
But where they are not able to come in full force, Britain and America will do something about it. So when Obama says Al-Assad is going to leave, it's just a question of time, he was very right. Okay. Because you can't wage war against the people and win.
Okay. So,
yes.
So let's look at this scenario right now. We're looking at, let's talk about interventions now. Interventions right now is an issue.
Yes.
You know, and Moscow, as you said, and China
yes.
are in opposition of interventions.
Yes.
Because of the track record of interventions lately.
Yes.
And even Africa and other places you find, like Libya, you find Iraq.
Yes.
The aftermath of these interventions have not been very pleasant. So they have left a scar on the nation, and they're still trying to heal. Even Iraq now has become a no man's land. In fact, to restore peace to Iraq now is still elusive right now. And look at Libya, the situation of Libya, where the international community intervened.
Yes.
It's still very uncertain, you know, where Libya is going right now in terms of governance.
Yes.
Okay, and on that backdrop, do you think it is China and Moscow are actually right? Because interventions have not really yielded, okay, the right fruits, if I may put that myself, which I think they say the international community must be able to look beyond intervention, beyond restoring restoring peace to Syria by removing Assad. They must look at the post, Assad era, how
yes.
they do ensure that the country is set on a path of total restoration in terms of political restoration.
You are very right in all that you have said. These interventionist policies of the international community. Yes, you're right, but as far as I'm concerned, and that's a personal opinion, I would prefer a situation in which post-war problems occur, like in Libya, for example, like you said, in Iraq, and so on. Now, rather than a situation in which a single person, an individual, gives me full cups of discomfort, indignities to quaff to the dregs. You see, I wouldn't want that at all. Let there be peace after such wars, after the removal of that type of person. That is the ideal. But even where there is no peace, and yeah, we have post-war squabbles, post-war violence, and so on. That is after the dictator has been removed. It bothers, but it doesn't bother me as 1/4 as much as when that person remains there. Regime change is wonderful. Where we have a dictator, an authoritarian government, you know, making people to experience infinite pains, you know, political discomfort, socio-economic problems all their lives, and they make the whole thing like a monarchy. The son succeeding the father, and so on. It shouldn't work in the 21st century. It shouldn't be like that. Yes, but that's not the major reason why why Russia and China are behaving like this. Just that anything British, anything America, they must oppose, rightly or wrongly. That is the major problem, rightly or wrongly. In Iraq, you know, we have this problem there. But when Hussein was there, you know, they were killing people at random, you know, like chicken. And he's gone now, and I'm happy about it. Even if there is any post-intervention problem, let it be. One day they will settle this one. There will be permanent peace in that place. Yeah, same thing with this Syria.
All right.
The father was there. There were problems. The son has come. There are problems. Go. He wouldn't go. Then he must be forced to quit. Then after being forced to quit, and there are still some post-intervention problems. So be it.
And you feel that right now, even those post-intervention problems are better than when those leaders were still in the saddle.
Better than when somebody stands astride the entire nation, showing that he and his family, you know, are the people, God-ordained rulers of that place. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Let that person go. Even if there is going to be any post-intervention problem, let it be. Yes, so one day they will overcome this, and everything will be fine. And, because what is happening in Iraq today is all Iraqi people, you know, groups of them say, no, this is what we want, this is not what we want, and so on and so on. They have the right to say what they want to have. Where they can't have it, and they rise up in insurrection against any power, any existing power, no problem. It is the entire people. At least they have the right to say freedom of speech, which is enshrined in everything, including all international documents, legal documents. They have the right to say what they want. Not saying something and then some people will say, one man will just say, gather them, and then go and put them in some chambers, kill them there. That shouldn't be.
Living below human standards.
Even below the human standards.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're just joining us, this is Let's Talk, and the issue on ground is Syria, and we're talking about suing for peace in Syria, and so much devastation going on right now. And sir, you know, analysts have said Syria is inching towards a failed state. Do you agree with that?
Well, yes, I will agree to some extent, but I don't agree to a large extent. They have this problem, and every country, you know, when Nigeria may be described as failing, but it's not yet failed. Now, but when Nigeria was engulfed in this type of problem in the 60s, you know, before the civil war ended in January 1970, most people would have said, oh, Nigeria, this is a clear-cut indication that Nigeria is going to be a failed state within a question of months. But we never became a failed state. So if we are talking of failing now, It's only in the 21st century that we are beginning to talk of failure, not in the 20th century when we had our civil war. So they will overcome this if this man is overthrown fast enough, and I'm sure he's going to be overthrown fast enough. He's coming to the end of the road. Once he's overthrown, these people will settle down. I mean, because Syria was one of the richest and one of the best countries in the Middle East.
That brings me to my question.
Yes, until this problem started. So to fail is not that easy. For a nation that has been so wonderful, you know, rich, you know, and so on. To fail, it's not that easy. Yes.
With so much large devastation right now over large swathes of Syria now, the space now left by this foreseen vacuum now in governorship or ruling of Syria right now, there is a space, and there is a threat, according to analysts, that terrorist cells like Al-Qaeda might move in right now in this circumstance now and take advantage of that. And it might not be a pleasant development. And if you're saying that the crisis will end eventually, don't you think that this danger itself might prevent that from happening?
Well, Al-Qaeda people moving in,
as they did in Mali, and they wait for, you know, opportunities like this where there is no government right now to enforce their...
so there is a vacuum which they want to occupy. That may happen, but
as
it may
happened
not.
in Iraq.
Yes, happening in Iraq. That may happen, but it may also not happen. When you it depends so much on what the people want. The people who now say, when I mean the people, the party that is opposed to Al-Assad today, that's the party that I call the people. So if that party, if the people want Al-Qaeda to come in, Al-Qaeda may come in. But if the people, the overwhelming majority of the people that are opposed to Al-Assad today, if they don't want Al-Qaeda to come in, they cannot come in. It's only when there is a crack in the wall that a lizard could go in, so to say, as our people say. So when there is no crack, you know, in that team, that the people who are opposed to Al-Assad today, if there is no crack in their own body, then Al-Qaeda may not be able to come in. Because today, even if Al-Qaeda comes in on the side of Al-Assad, the people, and I know you know whom I call the people now, are not going to agree. They will fight and kill all of them together. Yes, at the end of the day, the people will win. And once the people win, no religious body, no religious sect, Al-Qaeda or whatever, will be allowed to come in. Yes, and the people are going to win. You can see it in the offing.
I certainly hope so, that the people will prevail in the end.
Yes.
But tell me, what the Arab League now is unequivocally in support of Assad leaving, and definitely they are throwing their weight behind the US now, making sure intervening in the whole issue. But what makes we know international politics. We know that there is a politics of what do we stand to gain? Means in the midst of scarce resources, people don't invest in something that will not yield any fruit. Now, the concern of America, Britain, as it may, what makes Syria so significant right now in the fray? What makes Syria
you have just said it all. I mean, the Arab League. You know, first of all, there is this spirit of solidarity among the Arab nations. You know, that spirit is both political and religious. You know, so what do you gain if the people win? What we gain is the continued solidarity among Arab nations. If Al-Assad, wins, we are not going to gain anything. So you can see there is both socio-political and economic factors that we have among the Arab League nations. So political and religious in the main. That's number one. And then don't forget that there is petroleum, the chiefest mineral resource in Syria is petroleum.
All right.
So they have that. And when America and Britain, are doing what they are doing, it's not for nothing, Nobody fights. There is no free lunch.
No free lunch.
So, yeah, that's probably explains. It's not just the human factor. Oh,
Yes,
people are suffering. Let us go and help them. It's not only that. I mean, there is something they are looking at.
Yeah, there's
that
no
if we win, if the people win, we're on the side of the people. And they win. Okay, we will continue to do this.
Okay.
Continue to get some of this. And Syria is rich in so many other mineral resources.
Okay.
I just said the chiefest of the mineral resources is petroleum.
Okay.
So these resources are there for anybody who can help the people today to win their spoils over Al-Assad. So you can see, and the people that the country that Al-Assad depended upon most was Egypt. Okay. They thought Egypt, now that this Islamic government has come over in Egypt, President Morsi is going to support us. So they invited Morsi to Damascus to discuss. Okay. And when he was discussing, they were stunned when the man said, Damascus lost its legitimacy, so many years ago. Amazing. And it is time to stand with the revolution. Oh, they were stunned. They walked out.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So you can see Egypt is in support. All the other nations in the Arab League are fully in support of the people. Okay. And that's one reason why somebody could say with aplomb and information that definitely the people will win.
All right.
Because you need these people. I mean, the Arab League plus Britain and America on the side of a particular group. Why wouldn't you go to the rooftop and shout that the people are going to win at the end of the day? Okay. In fact, they are winning is in the offing. You can almost touch it.
Okay,
that's it.
I like the sound of that, sir. I would have really loved to ask you more questions, especially concerning America and the cost of intervention, and based on the fact that it's politics, the elections in America are just around the corner, and America will be avoiding another Iraq. Yes. But that will be for another time. But I would like to ask you, sir, to give us a parting shot on the issue. What should be the way forward right now?
The way forward is we appeal everywhere in the world. Everybody should appeal to Bashar al-Assad to quit the place in the interest of peace. Yes, and to respect the opinion of the people, the will of the people of Syria. He should quit. And again, the issues like this should not be overly politicized by, say, Russia and China. They should not. Everybody should join hands together to drive away this type of fellow who has been there. I mean, it's the same type of problem that is confronting Africa to the doctrine of Sith-Titism. You sit down there, you want to reign, democracy must prevail everywhere in the world. That's my opinion.
All right, sir. You've said, you've heard it from Barrister Akiri. He's a legal practitioner, an international relations expert, consultant, and public policy analyst. And we've brought this ship to a reasonable conclusion. And the story is, let the people's will prevail. Let justice prevail. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on the show. It's really been a wonderful time with you. And that's how we bring Let's Talk to another close. Join us at same time tomorrow when we bring you another issue to be dealt with.
You're welcome to Let's Talk.
So sit down and talk. We need to sit down and talk. How Nigeria corruption, how we're going to do our job.
If one can stand up and say no to corruption, we're going to do our job, protecting the system. You are not just doing good for yourself or for the nation alone, you also do good for the future.
Boko Haram is an attack, it's a spiritual attack. It's a satanic attack on Nigeria. We must, if we come to recognize it, we will understand then how to look for the solution.
The Sovereign National Conference, how do we want to achieve that in our present system? We need to sit down and iron out how Nigeria should be governed.